Hey, I'm Gareth from Bokeh, and today we're going to be taking a look at this. Now, you and I would call it the Sony 50mm Planar f 1.4. However, you could just as easily refer to it as a bokeh machine. Okay, so let's start off with what we're all here for, which is image quality, sharpness, and of course, bokeh. Now, the image quality is fantastic. I was getting some really nice sharp images, even when shooting wide open at f1.4. What that means is you're able to shoot in lower light scenarios because you're able to have that aperture open and still have sharp images. You can shoot in lower light, it means longer into the day, it means you're able to get more out of your shoot, which is super handy. Now, it also means you're able to get some really nice out of focus elements into your shot. It means you're able to get that really nice creamy bokeh. And at f1.4, that bokeh looks so good. Now, I was using it a lot for portraits as well, because obviously a 50mm f1.4, you gotta try it for portraits. And it was amazing. The model's face kind of had a nice soft quality to it, but still the whole picture was really sharp, and those out of focus elements behind were just stunning. The bokeh is so creamy and smooth. It's just really nice. The lights we had behind just went to nice circles. I had some lights in front sometimes as well, so you get those nice big circles. It just looked really good. Now, part of that is because it's an 11 bladed aperture, which makes the bokeh so nice and smooth. There's no artifacts. It just looks great. There's no other way to describe it, really. I'm putting some pictures up on the screen now as we speak, and it does look really good. Now, it's worth noting that there is a little bit of vignetting, especially when you're shooting wide open, but that's so easily fixable in post. It's not really much of a problem at all. Now, something that I was very impressed with was the autofocus. Shooting at f1.4, sometimes I've tried other lenses in the past where the autofocus is just not as good. It might hunt a little bit. Because it's such a shallow depth of field, it just struggles to lock on. But this was fine, this was perfect. I didn't have a single issue. It was perfect with the eye autofocus, it was perfect with the face detection, that all worked perfectly. Now with the portraits, I was pretty much just using eye autofocus to nail that and lock that on. Worked every time, never had a problem, nice and fast, nice and snappy. Really pleased with that. Now, there's no image stabilization in the lens itself. I didn't have any issues with that at all. You've still got image stabilization in the bodies. So for example, the A7 III, which is what I was using, or the A7R III, the A9, things like that have got image stabilization built into the body itself. So I didn't have any issues using it for video at all. Doesn't seem to be a big problem, and I was really happy with the stuff that I was getting. So let's talk about the construction of the lens itself. Now, it's a decent weight. It actually feels a little bit heavy on the front of the lighter cameras, things like the A7 III, the A7R III. Those cameras are so light that some of these bigger lenses do feel a little bit heavy, but on the other side, it does feel like a high quality lens, and that extends into every part of the build. The lens itself is super high quality. It's made completely out of metal, and it feels like a high grade Zeiss kind of quality. The focus ring on it is nice and wide, which is always nice. It's well gripped as well, so it's really great for shooting video in particular, where you might be using manual focus a lot more. Now, it's also got an aperture ring on the lens itself with a switch to de-click it if you want to use it while shooting video, and it's weather sealed as well, which is a really nice touch for such a high quality lens like this. The Sony 50mm f1.4 Planar Lens, long title, is actually honestly one of the better 50mm lenses that I have used. In terms of image quality, in terms of autofocus, in terms of versatility, it's a really nice lens. It feels good to hold, and it feels even better to actually shoot with. So if you're weighing up your options between this and other 50mm lenses, or you're just generally looking for a really nice portrait lens, this is a really good lens to consider. Now, if you have any questions, pop them down in the comments below. If you like the video, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, thanks for watching.